Welcome to today's Explainer. You know, it's a crazy statistic, but the number one reason startups fail isn't actually running out of money. It's building a product that literally nobody wants. So today, we're going to dive into exactly why your million-dollar idea absolutely must survive a critical pre-game gauntlet before you ever write a single word of a formal business plan. Every single day, we see countless entrepreneurs jump headfirst into drafting these massive, highly detailed documents, only to realize months down the road that their foundational idea was, well, fundamentally flawed from the start. We're going to fix that today.
To guide our journey, we'll map out the exact path your idea has to run. We've got 5 key sections on the agenda today, starting with the initial pre-game assessment, moving right through the brutal gauntlets of the market, technical, and financial tests, and finishing up with the ultimate go or no-go decision.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the pre-game assessment, understanding the foundation.
Okay, so we really need to bust a massive myth right out of the gate here. People almost always assume the very first step of any new venture is sitting down and writing a massive 50-page business plan. But the reality? A business plan is actually just an operational playbook. It's a comprehensive document that serves as a roadmap for your goals and strategies. And yeah, it's a tool you use to attract investors. It shows the world exactly how you are going to build the business, but here's the catch. It assumes one very dangerous thing. It assumes that the business should be built in the first place.
And that brings us to our core focus today. Before you can even think about writing that operational playbook, you absolutely must conduct what we call the pre-game assessment. This is your feasibility analysis. It is conducted strictly before the business plan to test if an idea is actually doable and, likely to succeed out there in the real world. Think about it like a sports team. Before you draw up complex plays for the championship game, you've got to see if you even have the right players ready to take the field.
I love this comparison because it illustrates the core difference perfectly. The feasibility analysis is strictly investigative. It asks one simple thing: should we do this? The business plan, on the other hand, is entirely operational. It asks, how will we do it? If you try to answer the how before you have thoroughly proven the should, you are literally building a house on sand.
Which leads us right into Section 2, the market test. Simply put, who is buying?
The fundamental question here is super simple, but honestly, it's totally ruthless. Will customers actually buy it? Look, you might have an idea for a revolutionary Bluetooth-connected smart toaster, but if there isn't a market of people actually willing to open their wallets for it, you don't have a business. You just have a really expensive hobby.
To survive this test, you've got to break the market down into 4 crucial components. First up, industry trends. Are people actually buying smart kitchen gadgets right now? Second, pinpoint your target market. Who exactly wants this thing? Is it tech-savvy millennials? Third, define your unique value proposition. Like, why would someone buy your high-tech toaster instead of a cheap one from the local big box store? And finally, you absolutely must estimate actual demand. Do your surveys and secondary data actually prove people will buy this smart toaster at a high volume?
Moving on to Section 3, the technical test, which is all about infrastructure and capability. Let's say your idea miraculously survives the market test. You might have a line of eager customers waiting around the block for that smart toaster. But this next phase of the gauntlet asks a really hard operational question. Do we actually have the infrastructure and the capability to build it? Because desire in the market means absolutely nothing if you literally cannot deliver the product.
This technical test forces you to wake up and nail down reality. First off, where is your location or site going to be? Are you in close proximity to your raw materials? Next, you have to look at the technology and equipment required to build those smart toasters. Is the required tech actually available? Is it affordable? And most importantly, is it scalable? You've got to map out a clear operations plan for your supply chain logistics, and you need to guarantee that you have the resource availability, meaning the actual skilled labor and materials needed just to keep the lights on and the assembly line moving.
All right, Section 4, the financial test. This is where we look at economic viability.
Even if the market desperately wants your product and you possess the exact technical capability to build it, this phase asks the ultimate question of survival. Will this venture actually make enough money to be economically viable? Because a business that produces a product people love but loses money on every single sale is a business that's going to fail extremely fast.
So you have to calculate your capital requirements, and you do this by strictly separating your costs. On one side, you have your fixed costs. Think about things like your monthly warehouse rent and base salaries. These never change, regardless of how much you sell. On the other side are your variable costs. This is the raw metal for the toaster, the shipping fees, costs that fluctuate based entirely on your production volume.
Understanding this division is absolutely critical to knowing exactly how much initial investment you're going to need just to unlock the front doors.
Next up, you need to look into the future. You're going to project your sales over a realistic 1 to 3 year horizon, based entirely on that market research you did back in step 1. Then, you use those projections to calculate crucial profitability ratios, things like return on investment and net present value. Simply put, these metrics are the cold, hard math that prove whether the future cash you make actually justifies the enormous risks you're taking today.
And it all leads right here to your absolute break-even analysis. TR equals TC. Total revenue perfectly matches total costs. This is the exact number of units you must sell to stop losing money and finally turn a profit. Look, if your break-even point requires you to sell 1 million smart toasters, but your market research says only 50,000 buyers exist in the real world, well, your idea just failed the financial test.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, the go/no-go decision, or the final synthesis.
This summary process flow neatly visualizes the entire journey we've just taken together. It starts with that initial spark of idea screening, then you push it through the brutal gauntlet of the market analysis, you push it through the technical analysis, you push it through the financial analysis, and if your idea survives all of that, it arrives, maybe a little battered but validated, right here at step 5.
Based entirely on synthesizing those 3 intense analyses, you reach the go/no-go decision. It's totally binary. Either your idea has passed the gauntlet, and you have finally earned the right to proceed and write that operational 50-page business plan, because you now confidently know the answer to, should we do this? Or it's a no-go. Maybe the numbers didn't make sense, the tech wasn't scalable, or the market just wasn't there. If that happens, you must pivot to a brand new idea. And hey, remember this, a no-go isn't a failure at all. It's a massive victory. It is the feasibility analysis doing its exact job, saving you years of your life and thousands of dollars on a business that was never going to work in the first place.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with this vital thought. Look closely at the project you are working on right now. Is your current big idea genuinely ready for a formal business plan? Or does it desperately need to be sent back into the investigative pregame gauntlet? Before you spend another minute figuring out how to build it, make absolutely sure you should. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking the tough questions.